Bring it back.
My mama told me I could be anything in the world, so I decided to be a unicorn.
And there we go. Beautiful intro. Love every single intro that I have. Happy with that. No question. Right. So this is kind of the after show of the CC Bingo. I'm waiting for the Caucasian Sasquatch to show up. The link is pinned at the top of the YouTube comments there. Feel free, anybody, feel free to click that link and come up, and we'll have a panel, and we'll have a ding dong, we'll have a chit chat, we'll have a hello, Silver Girl. Mrs. Slocum, why weren't you on CC Bingo? Pair of you, why weren't you on CC Bingo? Mind you, to be fair, it's only 11 a.m. in Perth. Doing really well. Really well. Oh, actually, something I didn't tell you earlier. Sorry, something I didn't tell you on the last live stream is I went to see a specialist about my shoulder. And so I had a cortisone injection in my shoulder to get away from the pain. And actually, there's not much pain there at the moment. So that's good. I've got to take it easy at work. Yeah, right. How's that going to work for me? It's not going to work at all. You had no internet in Perth. Are you serious? What are you using? Oh, I miss my broadband. Miss the broadband in Australia. I really do. Toilets. What's that supposed to mean? Good to see you, Joker. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. Everybody's here. The whole gang's here. Finish this. So I'm supposed to be at the beginning of the CC bingo. I said it was going to go for 1 hour 43 minutes. It went past that because the Eagles are playing, and I love to watch the Eagles get smashed. But I do have the live updated scores on this screen here, so I'm kind of quite happy. Anyway, how is everybody? How is everybody's weekend? I think it's everybody's weekend. No, it's not everybody's weekend. It's only my weekend. Oh, and Mrs. Slocum. So we're in Saturday. We're in the future. We're in tomorrow. You guys are in Friday. God, don't you love time zones? Do you not love time zones? Right. So he has finally arrived. Finally. Here he is. A very good friend of mine, very good friend of the channel, the Caucasian Sasquatch.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chuck Chases the Facts, where he chases everything but a little bit of tail down the beach. What's up, bud?
It's been a long time between drinks since I've been down the beach. Trust me. I haven't been to the beach for quite some time.
All right. So, what you got planned for us? What's the next shindig we're going to dig into? Because,
well, it sort of depends on you. What rabbit hole do you want to go down? Do you want to go down flat Earth? Do you want to go down moon Apollo deniers? Do you want to go space deniers? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to
go? Wow, that's a smorgasbord, bro. Like
I've got them all.
All right. So, do you have any pre-ice age civilization people that you mess with?
Oh, the creationists.
Silurian hypothesis folks, or creationists for that matter, whichever way you want to take that. Tartarian mud floods, that whole
mud flood.
Any of that, dude. That is all
me. Love the mud floods. Let's go with
another question. Have you heard of Vanilla Skies?
Oh, I touched on that the other day.
It took me almost a year, but I figured out why they did the Vanilla Skies effect in the old photos. Do you know why?
Because it was black and white photography, and it's always white.
The clouds really wouldn't come in. No one really cared. But beyond that, at the time, there was a lot of construction going on. So any scene in a big city would show partially constructed buildings in the background. Back then, partial constructions were considered kind of, verboten. You didn't show the inside of a building because it's like looking up a girl's skirts or something. I don't know. It was a weird psychology thing. Plus, if you were like, say, in Chicago and you had some real big money building buildings and they didn't want those buildings in partial construction in the newspaper, they would pay the different photographers to remove the buildings rather than show them in partial construction. It became a policy for a lot of photographers to just white out the skyline and only keep the completed structures in the foreground, right? And so you see a lot of these old films or old photographs that have the Vanilla Skies effect of like milk poured on a freaking dark plate.
I kind of hear what you're saying, but it hurts my brain a little bit.
It took, like I said, it took me almost a year to get to the bottom of one of the reasons that photographers did that. There's another one. That was between the First and Second World Wars, and there were a whole lot of technical secrets that were being developed. And so if there was anything associated with the military, anything associated with diplomats, anything associated with the United Nations or the League of Nations or whatever was going on at the time, that was whited out. So there are pictures of DC from like the mid 30s that don't have any of the classic DC monuments in them because they got whited out because they were doing a school church trip or some shit. And the photographer was like, oh, that's children. We'll just remove that. Ended up taking out the Washington Monument. And so there's photographs that appear to show the DC skyline with no monuments on them.
Well, yeah. So if you're going to take out images of children, that's fine. But there's only so much you can, you can't just scratch out that little bit just to get rid of the. If you're going to take out the kids, obviously you take out the kids, and then you take out the whole thing. So
you just white out that whole section over there, and you end up with something that looks like the Vanilla Sky series.
So if you took a picture in Paris of a bunch of children, or if you took a picture in Paris of some children walking across the road in front of the Eiffel Tower, you would take out the children, and naturally, if you're going to take that out, then you take away the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower didn't exist in 1937. Come on.
Right. So, I mean, it's just a bit of a heavy-handed redaction that's being viewed from the present frame of mind as a serious conspiracy to eliminate facts from our history, when really it was the photographers protecting their bottom dollar.
Yeah.
That was it. There wasn't a huge conspiracy of people trying to hide buildings and trying to make things appear otherwise. It was just, oh, by the way, we don't want anything of the U.S. military in these photographs. Okay. So if there's a blimp back there, they wipe that out, and well, it looks weird now, and so you do the whole sky.
Just take it all out. Just get rid of it. All right, fair comment. I appreciate that. So sorry, I've got incredible indigestion at the moment. So let's look at a guy. You're probably familiar with this guy. You may or not be familiar. Hans Wormhat. Do you know this guy?
It sounds familiar.
His channel name I can't even pronounce. In fact, he hasn't really got a channel name. It's RFTKOHIAH. I have no idea what that stands for, but I did a video on him last week where he claims that the Statue of Liberty was always in America. Always. No question. He brought up pictures of the statue in France being constructed, but no, the Statue of Liberty was always in America, which we know is bullshit.
That's baffling, dude. How does someone look at modern history and come to that conclusion?
According to Hans, history is fake. It's
coming in super loud. I'm sorry.
It's weird, right? So let's go into this video. Hang on, let me take this back because I was watching this one the other day, and he blows my mind. How anyone can sit in front of, or he actually doesn't show his face. He just talks and shows a lot of slides. But how anybody can sit in front of their computer, prepare all these slides, and talk the amount of bullshit, it's just beyond me. How you can just think, not even outside the box, but outside the box of the box.
Outside of reality. The box is real. It's a real thing. The box exists.
Stop
the
it.
Statue of Liberty didn't exist before 1902. That's not a thing. You don't even have to look hard to figure that one out. You could just stop and think, wait a second, how long did it take for us to develop metallurgy, the ability to build a copper sheet?
Stop it. I know where you're going with that. Right, so let's have a look at this. Oh no, it's doing it again. Oh, hang on. No, I'm probably not being patient enough. Oh no, I haven't shared the screen.
Private, and I can share it too.
No, I'm being a dick. Hang on a sec. Right, here we go. So this is Hans. The title of this video is "They Killed Us Like the Dinosaurs." This one is a classic.
that killed the dinosaurs and sparked apparently 2 years of darkness. That's pretty fascinating that these people, they claim to be able to go back in time, arbitrarily large numbers that nobody can really fathom. What do you know, 60?
Well, he says
Claiming to
nobody
go
can
back
fathom.
what?
He can't fathom. He can't fathom it because he doesn't grasp the concept of carbon dating and archaeology and genealogy and all that sort of stuff. So to him, it's bullshit.
Right.
6 million. Million is 10 to the 6.
Oh, here we go.
It's 6 zeros.
This is brilliant.
So it's a 6 and then a 6 and then followed by
6
6
zeros.
zeros.
666.
Interesting coding they have going on there.
It's the 666. It's the devil. It's all I know. I should have put a warning up, I should have put a warning up. Face palm protection is required for watching of this video.
Get you a mask. Y'all are going to be needing like a football helmet or rugby helmet or something to protect your eyeballs.
Yeah,
here's
Get a
my first question to him.
Get an NFL helmet and a
you
big
believe
cushion and
coincidence? You know, some people don't believe in coincidence. If you don't believe in coincidence, then this type of stuff will make sense to you. I believe that coincidence occurs. So when I see something strange like that, I'm just like, oh, that's weird. Move on with my freaking life.
Yeah. It just happened. I mean, what would happen if the article read here, the asteroid impact wiped out most of the dinosaurs about 67 million years ago? Shit, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. It says 67. Oh, I can't read anything into 67. But 66, I can read everything into that. Plus the 6 zeros.
That is certainly a nod to the number of the beast. And it's interesting how much of their outer space stuff ends up being 666 miles per hour or what have you.
That's unfortunate.
Here's another.
I've got to admit, that is very unfortunate. The fact that we travel at 66,000 miles an hour around the sun, that's very, very unfortunate. But of course, it's the devil. It's coincidence. It's just a terrible, terrible coincidence. But it fits into the narrative.
Another 66 with a 6 years ago sparked 2 years of darkness. So to finish my thought, wow. So they can go back in time 66 million years and then be for certain that something happened for exactly 2 years long. That is spectacular.
It is spectacular.
They have no limits to the amount of precision that they can have. I actually used to...
That's why they're called scientists. Am I not wrong? Because they do science stuff. Am I wrong here, Caucasian?
All right. So the assumption that the only way we can come up with information on a time period is to time travel back to that time period and view it is ridiculous.
But look, Hans believes we can do it.
But if we can do that, why is space travel even a speed bump, bro? If time travel's an option, space travel's like in the back view. Like we solved that before time travel.
Because if you could time travel, then you could go back in time to develop forward travel, and then if you go into forward travel, you can develop time to go back in. It's just like a circle, eh? It's
kind of teach this stuff every once in a while. I mean, I would make a chuckle about it. I would say that it's funny when people would do these little Half-Life problems that their calculator
all right.
shoots out
get
these pop. stuff
Get to the
so-
point. Here we go.
that would have been suspended into the upper atmosphere. Said study lead author Peter. Interesting. They're just a lead author. Peter Roopnarine. What kind of a last name is that? A curator of geology at the California Academy of Sciences.
I love that. I love the way he says that. What kind of surname is that? I mean,
I don't know, man.
that's his surname. That's where it came from. He was born with it. He didn't choose it. He didn't go, oh, what? I don't know. What surname will I give myself? Oh, I know. Rupapanine. He was
Is
given
it
that
possible
name.
that it's a Indian surname?
I would suggest so.
Okay.
I was
Polynesian,
well. I
right?
mean, Peter's a bit of a
Well, no, it's quite common for people coming into the anglicized
Yep.
Western Hemisphere to take
Yep.
on an
to give
anglicized
themselves
name
a
for
yeah.
your benefit, not theirs. So Peter makes sense. His name is probably Rupalchanal or some shit like that, but he
Yeah.
went Peter because you can say it.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you a name that you can actually say and put me on a paper and go Rupapanine. Yeah, that's fine. But he goes, what sort of name is that? It's like, what? It doesn't matter what his fucking name is. Could it be Jones, Smith, fucking Bobby, Williams? Who gives a fuck? That's his name.
Kind of a last name.
Doesn't make it not real. Just because his surname is unpronounceable doesn't mean that he's not a genius.
Was that a curator of geology at the California Academy of Sciences? So I want to stop here and say that I think that here, with this framework of fake dino stuff, anything that's pushed on children in this world is highly suspicious. They love to push the astronaut stuff on children.
I love this phrase. This phrase has been grating on my head. Astronauts.
I really, really love people who try to use modern etymology versus ancient languages. It is hilarious.
It's crazy.
Okay, crazy, sure, but it's really, really funny because when you hear
It is
people
funny.
talking across language, not just languages, not across languages, but across linguistic groups, we're talking the difference between the Romantic languages and the Slavic languages. These things share virtually nothing from one another that hasn't occurred in the last couple of hundred years, right? So just because the Russians use a word for, like, I don't know, white rice that is similar to the word used by the Englishmen 20 years ago, these people will look at that and go, oh, well, obviously that's because the root comes from the same source, aliens.
Like, and how do you know this? And where is your
They
evidence?
made it up in their freaking skull bane.
Just this is what Hans does. He sits in front of his computer. I'm led to believe he has a wife and at least one child, because he's mentioned a child in his previous videos. So he's got a wife and a kid, but he sits in front of his computer and just looks at, well, doesn't look at the camera because he doesn't show his face, but just looks and goes, I'm going to talk bullshit.
That's a red flag right there, bro.
I'm going to pluck stuff out of my ass with some slides to make it look good, or make it sound good, should I say.
Zebras, all their fake animals are going to be the ones that get
It's a zebra, by the way, not a zebra. It's a zebra.
pushed.
I
Heavily. Sloths are so common these days. Pushed koalas, etc.
Why are you picking on koalas? Why are
because
you
they have
picking on
chlamydia.
koalas?
You pick on koalas because they give you chlamydia.
Well, then, it is true. Okay,
They earned it.
my bad. They do, but koalas are the most cuddliest, cutest. gorgeous
Hold on,
creatures.
let me
I've
share
held a koala.
Oh,
I've
yes.
held a koala, personally held a koala, and they are the softest, most gorgeous, wonderful creature. But if you cross it, it will fucking kill you. Its claws are fucking razor sharp, and
Yeah.
they will kill you.
Well,
But
think
apart from
about
that,
the sloth. Sloths
the
injure a number of
sloth.
people a year, and they don't move very fast, but people think because they're slow, they can reach out and hold on to the claw. But a sloth's ability to do this
Yep.
is amazing.
It's
And they got
it's
claws.
it's
It's
almost faster
claws.
than light. The way they're I saw a brilliant short the other day. There was a guy. He had his son in front of him. They were going down a zip line. I don't know where it was. I'm going to pick Brazil. They were going through some rainforest, and the dad said, "Right, we're going. Whatever you do, don't use your brake. We are going as fast as light itself." So they're going, and then this kid pulled his brake, and there was a sloth going down the zip line. And the zip line. This zip line is fucking kilometers long. And so the dad pulls his brake, and the kid's going, "It's a sloth, Dad. What are we going to do?" He's going, "Well, I guess we're going to have to fucking wait." And apparently, to this day, that video was posted about 10 years ago, and apparently to this day, both dad and son are still waiting on the zip line for the sloth to get to the
Legend
end.
says they hang there till this day.
They're emaciated. They've grown beards like you. they're wasted. But so people have to come down the zip line and feed them and give them water just to but yeah, this sloth was on the zip line just going, "Yeah, I'm here." Fucking brilliant video. Brilliant.
Same thing with the dinosaurs. Man, they really crammed that dinosaur thing for something that apparently was around like millions and millions of years ago. They're pretty front and center these days. And really, it's because it was just an invention like 200 years ago or something. Who was ever?
Excuse me? So, oh, Huck's here. Hello, Huck. Sorry, I didn't see. Hello, turd face. Yes, that's your usual response to me. Hello. So dinosaurs were only here 200 years ago.
Awesome. That's fantastic. That means there's a chance that I might be able to find me a good old fashioned T-Rex steak around here frozen in the ice.
Just like Freddie Flintstone.
Ever been out in their backyard and dug up a dino bone? You got to be a special.
Did I not just mention Fred Flintstone? And he's talking about dino bones.
Sure. Let me take a chew on that one right there. Locally, like within a couple of miles of my house, we have this place we call the Lime Sinks. I live on top of what's called a karst formation. The limestone dissolves underneath all of the other stuff, and you end up with these sinkholes here and there. Here's the weird thing to it. There are two types of limestone. There is a light chalky limestone and then actual like show enough real solid limestone, right? What happens is the karst section dissolves before the solid limestone section, and the byproduct of that is dropping bajillions of shark's teeth, ray teeth, sand dollars, all of them petrified, all of them made of lime, in piles and little pockets inside the little stream bed where the sinkholes are. And as a kid, we used to go up there and go collect shark's teeth just because we didn't have anything better to do in Georgia. So,
but sorry, go on, carry on.
Well, the question is, if there weren't any dinosaurs, how did these sharks? If the time frame we understand currently isn't legit, then how in the hell did these sharks' tooth get on top of the mountain that I'm on?
Exactly, because years and years and I use the phrase years when I'm talking millions of years. when the Earth was one plate and everything was together. And then you had sharks, dinosaurs, dolphins, whatever, and they were in the sea, and then they died. And then when the plates came together and created, and when everything separated, and then the Himalayas was a collision of plates which pushed everything up. That's why you get dolphins, sharks, sea mammals at the top of mountains and hills, because
I hear what you're saying, but let me take another step here. Everyone's familiar with the Himalayas because they're one, along with the Rocky Mountains, of the newest mountain features on Earth.
correct.
The Appalachians over here.
Of course, when you say modern, we're talking probably about 140 million years ago. When
Right.
you say modern.
Yeah, new. That's new, folks. New. Okay, so I'm on the Appalachian. So these are not mountains in the classical sense. These are what are referred to as extinct mountains. In fact, the part that you see today that is mountains are actually the literal foundation blocks of a mountain range. We're not talking about the sharp peaks that you see in the Himalayas or in the Rocky Mountains. We're talking about the rounded hills of solid basalt and granite that are the backbones of what was once mountains like the Himalayas.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm getting at is, once upon a midnight dreary, the ocean was up, not up here 200 feet, 300 feet above sea level, but this was down there before it was uplifted.
Mm-hmm.
And then the erosion process brought it back down to the level we're at now. And that's why we find piles of shark's teeth and little holes
way up there,
because it's washed away trillions and trillions and trillions of tons of just overburden that is now Florida.
Oh, bless Florida. I like Florida.
You should.
But no, I kind of like Florida. It was my first sort of
Florida.
real. I like Florida.
You know,
If I was to, no, I was going to say, if I was to emigrate to America, which I'm probably not going to do, I would probably pick Florida or Texas. I like the weather in Texas, not the hurricanes and the bad weather and all that shit. But
there's a lot of places we could go from that statement. I'm just going to move on with the show because we'll get
all right. Let's get on with
it. Something like that. But anyways, I think in this silly framework, they're kind of giving us hints about
everything to hands is silly.
About how the resets happen.
So the reset. You know what the reset is.
No, don't do that. Don't sell people short. Even if I do know what the reset is, there might be someone who checks this out in a couple of hours or days that don't. So explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
All right. So the reset, apparently, and I hate using air quotes, but the reset was a mud flood. The mud came from somewhere, washed everything away, reset everything, and the mud disappeared. So nobody knows where the mud came from. Nobody knows what it did. And nobody knows where the mud went to. We don't have any evidence whatsoever about a mud flood. There is zero evidence. In fact, I'm talking below zero. There is absolutely no evidence of a mud flood. And they claim this happens every so many years. It resets. The mud comes, it resets everything, wipes everything away, starts again, and then we'll just start all over again.
Okay, I'm a little confused on this point. I I thought part of the evidence for the mud flood was the fact that some of these older buildings are built underground to an
Oh,
extent, windows and stuff underground, and they're like, oh, well, here's the evidence of mud flood. And I'm like, in order to have a mud flood reservoir of mud, you would also have to have the hollow earth. These would both have to be true.
and this is where basement windows come from, because a basement window apparently was a normal window when the mud flood happened, and then when the mud flood happened, then that window became a basement window. But in reality, a lot of buildings were built with basements, and you have to have a window in a basement to let light in, and that's where you get basement windows from.
Right? I worked in construction for many moons, and I can tell you from experience, I buried more than a few basement windows in my time, just because I was adding a building next to a building, and there was nowhere else to put the dirt, and the homeowner wouldn't pay to have it moved off site, and so basement window got buried.
Oh, they get so you're the so are you the cause of the mud flood? You're the cause of the mud flood. I've got the cause of the mud flood live here on my fucking live stream.
At least one.
One, maybe two. Actually, when I think about it,
Well,
three.
no, the rest of them were dry dirt that I put around the windows. The only one of them was mud. I was working in the rain that day.
The rest was just soil. The rest was just
the rest was just soil. That's right.
But it was raining that day, so I created a mud flood. I've got you on camera, live on YouTube, that you are the mud floodder.
Careful, that has different connotations on other platforms.
You are a mudder flooder.
Careful,
that's good.
I'm telling you, that has a different meaning in different places.
I do like that though. You mudder flooder. I do like that. It's quite funny.
Historical resets happen. I think that they have some knowledge about the way that these things happen, and they're pretending that this happened 66 million years ago and it wiped out the dinosaurs, but they're actually just telling us how they can reset history whenever they want to. They can do total population resets, more or less, and this is how they do it. Of course.
With a pen and paper.
Population reset? What are we doing?
I don't understand. All right, I'm going to say these words. I'm not a fan of using these words, but I have difficulty trying to be specific when talking about these people.
Yeah.
So these people, right?
Man.
These people, they don't seem to take education seriously. What they do instead is say, okay, well, they make the assumption, the basest assumption, that everything is false. And then they attempt to recreate logic with no grounding in mathematics, physics, none of the history, none of the dates, none of nothing. And so they basically end up doing, I believe these people are the NPCs we hear about.
You can't say NPCs. That's what CC says. Everybody's an NPC. Apart from him, of course.
He doesn't have an internal monologue to tell him this is a bad idea. So he just keeps right on going. He heard the term NPC and was like, oh, well, that's what must be everybody, because I'm not.
Or is Chris an NPC and everybody else is real? Ooh.
Well, no, that is my contention. That is what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you encounter one of these, first of all, and I've said this to you before, I'm going to say it for your viewers. The only way a flat earther wins an argument is by wasting your time.
Very true. Very true.
They can remain autistic longer than you can remain in the conversation. Just say it, dude. Facts be facts, and they don't care about feelings. My man is over here saying the first thing that pops to mind as an answer while reading an article. Do you think the journalist or the YouTuber has done more research on this particular topic?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're not called scientists for no reason. They are doctors, professors, because they've done the time. They went to school, went to high school, went to college, they went to university. They're fucking smart people. They've learnt their shit. They've delved deep and deep and deep into this shit. They know what they're fucking talking about. Chris, you sitting in your patient transport vehicle, you haven't
Did you say
even
pastry transport vehicle? That's
He's
hilarious.
He's patient transport vehicle.
Oh,
did say-
I thought you said pastry.
Not pastry. He's patient. He's patient transport vehicle. He works for a company called is it BBPT? Don't know what the BB stands for, but it's BB Patient Transport. He basically takes people from here to there in their wheelchairs.
Right, I got you. Okay. This is CC.
And so when he gets a smoko, then he just rants. He just and pulls shit out of his. I was going to say out of his ass, but I don't think he pulls it out of his ass. He just pulls it out of his head and just rants.
I'm going to reiterate something I said before. I firmly believe this is a stream of consciousness type thought process. You're not seeing what he believes. You're merely hearing what it is he's currently thinking out loud. He doesn't have an interior monologue, so he has to monologue to YouTube to have a monologue.
It's what we call here in Australia and New Zealand your outside voice. So you either use your outside voice or your inside voice. And CC really should use his inside voice a lot more than his outside voice.
Oh, that's where you're going all off base, though. I don't think my man actually has an inside voice. I
don't think he does either, but he should
develop one.
He should develop one and go like, so he should like go live now and go.
That is so weird. So freaking weird. So strange. These people are so odd.
Where do you get this from? I don't. Anyway,
It's not an asteroid, but like
right,
go now. Things and they takes it like print all the plan.
Right, let's get over that.
Really so much good. I think Jurassic Park. Yes, maybe we should tell it.
Right.
Preventing photosynthesis, since it is known. They're just going to tell us. They are confident in this. Since it is known that around 75% of the species went extinct after the asteroid impact 66 million years ago. I mean, maybe 75% of the species really did. I mean, maybe there is such a thing as a fossil record, but they inflate the numbers so much and they make up so much BS.
Who's that?
It makes it hard to know what's real and what's fake, because I do
You're not
believe
allowed to ask that.
eras and times past. Like, I believe in unicorns. I think unicorns were a real thing.
I know unicorns are a real thing.
Unicorns are not a real thing.
They are real, dude. I swear to God.
They are not real.
No, they are. They're just not what you think.
Oh,
Me and my wife have a bit of an open relationship, and for over a year, I had a beautiful, completely nymphomaniac girlfriend that lived with us. That lady was a unicorn.
Okay. The meaning of that word is probably different to this meaning of unicorn. I appreciate you sharing that comment, but so also apparently, according to Hans, unicorns also used to fart rainbows. So
all right, let me run this one by you. You have a choice. I'm going to describe two animals. One of them is real, one of them is mythical. You have a horse with a horn, and then you have a 14-foot tall cheetah, deer, horse, zebra, giraffe hybrid. I'm sorry, not giraffe. I didn't mean to say giraffe. I was thinking giraffe. One of these creatures is real, one of them is mythical. Which one's real? Well, you've seen a horse, right?
The second
You ever
one.
seen a 12-meter cheetah giraffe? I mean, sorry, I keep saying giraffe. I'm talking about a
You
giraffe.
keep saying giraffe. Stop saying
I'm
giraffe.
talking about the giraffe. I'm trying to describe a giraffe, but it's hard to describe a giraffe without saying it looks like a giraffe.
You're talking about a T-Rex.
But what I'm
You're talking
getting
about a
at
T-Rex.
is,
That's
if
basically what
you
you're talking about.
went to a random individual 10 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, and you described a horse with a horn and then described a giraffe, and you went, which one of these is real? Without batting an eye, they would say, well, I've seen a horse and I can imagine a horn on its head. But that other thing you're describing is completely beyond the pale. But giraffes are real and unicorns are not.
They're so not. They're so not. Oh, that's beautiful. That is actually beautiful. But stop saying giraffe.
Okay.
And if you're going to say it properly.
I can kick the
Giraffe.
space agency right in their testicles too, if you'd like to hear a really simple argument for there being no space travel.
We're going to carry on with the video.
All right.
Maybe they still exist somewhere because they've done some Jurassic Park trying to bring it back from the dead thing, or they've kept select population.
Okay. First of all, Jurassic Park was a movie. End of story. Richard Attenborough, brilliant actor, brilliant director, brilliant writer, but Jurassic Park was a fucking movie. Fantasy.
Safe. I don't know, but
Oh, Mrs. Slocum, read your Bible. All the animals came 2 by 2 to the ark, except the fucking unicorn. Couldn't find 2 unicorns to get onto the fucking ark.
I think there is something to there being different time periods on Earth and different types of creatures. And I do believe that there could have been different atmospheric conditions in times past, because the whole Noah's Ark thing is interesting, of them getting really drunk afterwards, like the atmosphere changed. And
As I remember that story, Noah drank the wine he brought for the celebration of finding land. And since all of the other people on the ark, what was it? It was him, his wife, his 2 sons. Wasn't there a daughter there as well?
And
Not a daughter.
apparently something like 166 million fucking animals.
Oh, sure. But I'm getting at the story itself. That was one of the stocks that were stocked onto the ark. It's in the list. Wine was included. So were grape plants, but we're not going to get too deep into that. My point is, he became drunk because he was celebrating and he had no one to celebrate with. So he became over drunk because, of course, women and children don't drink. So he had to drink by himself. And what happens when you drink by yourself there, Chucky? You
end up like Chuck chases the facts. That's what happens. And also, you can't drink and steer.
As I remember, there wasn't a rudder on the ark, so I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Well, you can't drink and ride. You can't drink and float. It's illegal.
Luditing the Neanderthals in Florida.
I'm pretty
I
sure
respect you, son.
it's against so many laws in America that you can't drink and ride a boat. I don't know.
If you
all
could
I'm
drink
thinking
and
of
drive
is,
a boat, half of fucking America's lakes would be empty, dude. They're all out there hammered. You know they're hammered out there, right?
God, if I was a cop in America, oh my stars, I was the drink drive expert in England. When I was a cop in England, I was the drink drive expert. I would just watch a vehicle and just go, yep, pissed. 10 out of 10. I'd
I
always
kind of feel
cover
like in England, you have a decent chance of just picking a car at random and then being drunk.
Do you know how many off-duty arrests I had? So I lived. I worked in a place called Solihull, and the back end drive was down country roads back to my house, about 8 miles away. Do you know how many commendations I've got for catching fucking drunk drivers on the way home? And I'd just call it in and go, oh, fuck, I'm behind another one. Where are you? And 10 out of 10 always catch a drunk driver on the way home. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, midnight on the way home. Always catch one. Always. It's so sad.
That's an entirely
So
different conversation, Chuck. See, I'm in America. We have this little thing called the Fourth Amendment, and you're trouncing on that shit like somebody slam dancing at a mosh concert.
Ooh, no. Actually, I'm writing another script. I'm writing a script at the moment on a video, and the Fourth Amendment states. So you're talking about me following someone and calling in a drunk driver. The Fourth Amendment states every subject has a right to be secure from all unreasonable searches and seizures of his person, his houses, his papers, and all of his possessions. That's the Fourth Amendment written
I
right
hear
there.
you.
But if I'm following a drunk driver,
due
if I'm
process,
following a drunk driver and I call it in and he gets pinged for drink driving,
if he's drunk, I have no issue with it. That justifies everything that takes place up to the point you can verify he's drunk. The issue is that now I'm going to say a random person. I'm aware that you were an officer and you had, training and shit, and you were, you know what I'm saying. But a random person seeing somebody drive by, making a conscious decision in their brain that this person is drunk, getting in their car and following them along, calling the cops, getting the cops there.
Oh, that's wrong.
There's a certain amount of due process that should be associated with those types of stops. And all of that hinges on the active cop and the active investigation. However, and here's where I have an issue with it. As an officer off duty, right? Your word is given more weight by other officers on duty than the average person. The concept of a credible witness carries more weight from a cop than it does from a random drunk dude on the side of the street somewhere.
But that's how I'm trained. That's how my brain works.
You also weren't in America, so it makes sense. I'm just saying, here that would have been a little bit sketchy. I don't know how that would pan out, but I don't remember. I'm going to have to go looking for a case like that, see if I can find a situation where that was actually carried to court. I haven't even thought about it, but I appreciate that because it hasn't crossed. That's brilliant.
Yeah, go for it. But as a person, as I finish a shift at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm driving up, excuse me, I finish shift, I'm driving home, there's a car in front of me and it's going, like this. And I'm going, that's not quite right. That's not how a normal human being would drive a vehicle. You normally drive it between the lines. But if it's going like this, and it's indicating when it's not turning, you go, this is a little bit suspicious. And that gives me reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion.
I created this with this statement that I'm sure that's fine in England, but it would definitely, I feel like it would come up with some issues in the US. I'm not sure which amendment it would step on, but I'm sure there's one in there that protects us from silly shit like that. You bastard. What an asshole, dude. I was doing just fine. I was on my way home. Hell, I've got another half mile. I'm home and safe and everything's fine. But then you're on your way home and you saw me hit a reflector in the road, and you're like, oh, yep, he's definitely drunk. I might have had one too many, maybe two too many, whatever. But
exactly. I would call it in. I would call it in. Honestly,
okay,
doesn't matter what country I'm a cop in. I've done it in New Zealand. I've done it in England. I did it in Australia. I was on my. No,
would you do it as a private citizen though?
Yes, I've done it as a private citizen, and I've followed people. I've gone way out of my way.
What is your reasoning behind that?
Because the cop brain. I've seen someone do this.
Because they're guilty?
Well, they're not guilty until you.
Well, then what's the cop brain? I don't understand what you mean when you say cop brain.
I observe things differently to the average human, and that sounds really bad.
I get
that. That sounds really bad, but
I know I get what you're saying.
I see things differently. If someone's swerving in the lane and speeding up or slowing down is a good one. When people are drunk, they tend to go slower because they think they're overstepping the speed limit, so they slow right down. And I've called it in. I've called it in as a civilian in Australia, and I've got 100% record. 3. They've stopped them and they've blown over.
Let's ask chat. What does chat think? Do you think Chuck's an asshole for doing this, or is he a good man for turning in random people? Go with the video. We'll find out in a minute.
Sorry, I have missed a couple of comments here. We've done read your Bible. We've done beer is required for lake fishing. Well, yeah, you can drink beer on a lake. That's cool. You can't drive a boat drunk in Perth. No, you can't. You can't.
You see, you keep saying this word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. You keep saying can't when what you mean is shouldn't. You can.
You can't. Well, you kind of shouldn't. Well, you can, but you can't. But it's illegal. Yeah, that's true.
Well, when was the last time laws stopped criminals from breaking the law?
Said no one
ever in the history of mankind. Because when you outlaw guns, only the outlaws have guns. And it's weird how the cops still have them too. So who are the outlaws? I'm just playing.
You're getting deep into the Second Amendment there, my brother.
I'm in Georgia. We is the Second Amendment.
But isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that a POM, Kiwi, Australian, knows more about amendments, the 14 amendments in America, than most Americans do?
I find that depressing and upsetting.
I find it really upsetting. I find it really upsetting.
It's also really upsetting to me how many people believe that a government agency can reinterpret a law and enforce the reinterpretation as though it were the original law, when that's not the thing at all. Congress passes laws. Presidents don't. Senates don't. There's no other function in America that allows a law to be passed other than Congress. And yet we have the ATF, the EPA, every single HOA in America, all of the Department of Education folks are all just randomly reinterpreting their charters so as to be able to do the things they want to do.
But doesn't it come from the 10th Amendment? See, I know this shit. Doesn't it come from the 10th Amendment that if the federal government can't decipher, then it hands it back to the states?
Any law not directly given to the federal government,
not the federal government,
goes down to the states. The states that can't pass laws on a given feature, it's passed down to the municipality or the county level. The counties that there's things that if the federal government passes a law on something, it makes no sense. And these things are not supposed to be touched by the Congress. Things like water limits, right? You can't have a nationwide watering limit for two reasons. One, in the desert Southwest, your water limit would sound absolutely fucking absurd. It would sound gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons too much, right? In the Southeast, where I'm at, a water limit is absolutely absurd because I'm in a swamp. I'm trying to get rid of water. If you limit me, I'm gonna drown, bro.
Yeah, fair comment. You can only do 15 liters today, sir. What?
What? I'm already ankle deep.
My
Right?
computer's not going to work.
It's definitely not going on YouTube tonight.
All right. Oh, geez, we're having so much fun. I'm fucking loving this.
That's what caused them to,
Come on,
to get rid of the
Right. Get to something.
could
Get
have
something
persisted
Here we
in
go.
the Hell Creek area. Isn't it interesting how much stuff on Earth gets named after satanic things? A representative
hang on.
fossil witness, how much estimated that
shit.
the
We got to go
globe
back here.
to shill their BS around. Dark period
Next slide.
may have
Next slide.
lasted approximately
Hands,
2
next
years.
slide. Here we go.
Conditions varied across the globe because of atmospheric
Did you
flow and
hit-
temperature
Conditions varied across the globe.
Globe.
Flat Earther.
variation, but we estimated that the darkness could have persisted in the
The darkness. Where did you get darkness from? I didn't see a word
Darkness?
darkness. I didn't see
Let's
conditions
see.
varied across the
Estimated that the
globe
darkness
because
could have
of
persisted in Hell
atmospheric
Creek area.
flow and temperature variation. Oh, he got to darkness eventually, but he went to darkness. Well, he went dark, very dark.
Hell Creek area. Isn't it interesting how much stuff on Earth gets named after satanic things? A
really.
representative fossil
Not really.
Not really. It's not all that unusual for people to get to a place and go, damn, this place is the living fucking hell. What are we going to name it? That's a creek.
right.
This place is
Oh.
hell.
Oh, look.
Let's name it Hell Creek.
Fucking Hell Creek. That's it. We're done.
We're
Next.
done. It's just like
Um,
Nome, Alaska. You know how Nome, Alaska got its name?
Alaska.
And Nome, specifically the city of Nome.
No, Nome.
Nome, yes.
As
Do
in,
you know how it got named Nome?
because it was
The-
short.
No, the butthole that went up there to map the area at the time, Nome was just another one of those outpost towns across the frontier, and he had names for every place that he had stopped. Except when he got to Nome and they asked what the name was, they just shrugged at him. They were like, "We haven't named it yet," and he was like,
Oh.
"Okay." So he wrote the word name, but his penmanship was so bad that the next person to collate.
He
wrote
wrote no
Nome.
name.
And the second guy to collate his map was the one to actually name Nome, Alaska, and didn't realize that he had just misspelled the word name.
Or no name. So gnome. Oh, fuck. Yeah, but we've got a pizza parlor here called Hell's Pizza. I don't think you have Hell's in America, but Hell's Pizza is literally the best pizza in New Zealand. It seriously is. But it's called Hell's Pizza, and they name all their pizzas after darkness, after the devil and Satan's best. It's it's got jalapenos on and chilies and hell. It's just a great word. It's fictitious. Gnome, but gnome. Got gnome, but gnome. Mm-hmm. Love it.
region dating to the latter part of the Cretaceous and extending over parts of today's Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. For up to 2 years, Roop Narayan. More about the
I love the way he giggles at that guy's surname again. Roop Narayan. Really? Is that your surname?
asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Around 66 million years ago, an asteroid with a force unlike any in Earth's recent history struck our planet and dramatically altered its trajectory of life.
Correct.
Interesting how
Correct.
I feel like here they're kind of making fun of the fact that wouldn't a huge impact like that, wouldn't it literally change the trajectory of these space balls and have like crazy effects and mess up the spin and mess up the... But
did.
what they tell it, do
It
they talk about
did.
the Yucatan?
It did. Oh, God,
Right.
Hans, have you not done any research? The planet was spinning literally on its axis. Then the meteorite came down and bumped us. Now
I
we
got
spin.
I got a
Here
much
we
better.
go. Now
This
we
was
spin
new.
on a 23.4 degree axis. And guess what? Guess what? 90 degrees minus 23.4 degrees is 66.6 degrees. For fuck.
All right. Oh yeah, for a little bit. Thank you, man. So here's to me is the smoking gun, as it were, of the asteroid impact concept, especially surrounding the Yucatan crater, right?
Mhm.
Dinosaurs fossils all over the world have been found from this time period, right?
Mhm.
The only place in the world where you find micro diamonds embedded in the bones of dinosaurs is in the southwestern American region, where the dinosaurs that were alive at the time of, yeah,
when
it
the
was.
meteorite hit.
There's also splash damage to consider, because if you've got a object that big striking the crust at that speed, you will be launching island-sized chunks of Earth's mass into orbit to land further out from the crater's epicenter. These things would create secondary impact sites that would also have very similar micro diamonds.
True.
So you end
So
up with
if something big enough came out of that, it would go, and that would go, and that would go.
yeah, and then smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So what you end up with, and this is verified in the fossil record, when you look at the contemporary dinosaurs to the impact crater, you find micro diamonds embedded in the actual fossils themselves, implying that those diamonds were embedded before the bones fossilized. When you go to the southeast over here, you find a totally different matrix of micro diamonds, but only in a few places. You don't find them everywhere, but there's a place down near Dahlonega where the micro diamonds are impacted into things like freaking mussel shells and sand dollars. We find them in stuff like shark's teeth. We find it in just different things. But it's local. It's not something, you don't find that in Florida. You don't find that further north in South Carolina, but you do find another epicenter of micro diamond fossils in North Carolina. And there are a bunch of weird bays up there that just happen to look like something fell out of the sky and landed on it. So,
but you wouldn't find it in Russia or India or Thailand,
right? But you might,
local.
Right? It would be, given the size of the impactor, we're talking local, largely eastward.
It
doesn't, spin of the earth and all that. These things would typically land with slightly east of where the impact would be on a straight line. And as a byproduct, you end up with things like the original starting of the Great Lakes would be about the right distance. Lake Michigan is exactly as far away from the Yucatan crater as where I am in Georgia. Same distance. And we have the same features there. There's a spot somewhere around Maryland that has a handful of micro diamonds that are somewhat local. There's a ring of them that are farther out than the initial crater. Right.
And so you've also got to remember that the meteor came in at a certain angle.
Sure.
And therefore, if it came in at this angle, then it would go. So you get that north and you'd get that south.
Right. So yeah,
That's a great analogy. That's
it's
amazing.
there's a couple of other theories that run concurrently with those. If you've ever heard of the Younger Dryas, there is an event that took place in North America that doesn't seem to have been all that important in Europe for some reason. We don't understand why. Locally, it appears as a boundary layer between sand and red clay. Below the sand, you might find a arrowhead, but if you do, it is very, 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 very rare. In the red clay, you find nothing that wasn't buried. There is no living material in this clay. This was laid down over a period of time and nothing interrupted the sequence. And then on top of the red clay, you have another layer of sand, and you find all kinds of stuff in that.
And again, we're talking about hundreds of millions of years. So
this particular event, we're talking about 8,000 years, not hundreds of millions.
Oh,
this
okay.
this seems to have occurred a lot quicker than most of your major environment change. This might actually be a legitimate mud flood, but it was 22,000 years ago or something like that. We don't know exactly how this red clay came to be where it's at, and we don't know exactly where it came from, but we do know that all of the accumulated elements in it are derived from the Appalachian Mountains. The red clay itself is a bit of a mystery.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, red clay. Red clay is different to mud. Mud is just dirt.
Technically speaking, it is called kaolin. It is technically a clay and not a chalk.
Hey, you're getting way too technical for this.
I can go so technical on the kaolin that I'm not going to. But I'm just saying,
it'll hurt my brain. It'll hurt my brain.
I can hurt your brain when it comes to kaolin. Yes, sir. That's true. Go ahead. Just
here. Now they tell us that it's a Yucatan. When I was growing up, I don't think that there was consensus on that story. They can change their stories whenever they want. 5 years from now, they could say, "Oh, that was wrong. It's actually in this area," but it's not like a crater. It's,
all right.
Check it out.
Next slide, Hans.
There's no characteristic doing a thing.
Next
Yucatan Peninsula, Chicxulub Club Crater, CC is a 33. Peninsula, Chicxulub.
Here we go. Right.
Dinosaurs are a hoax.
Here we go.
I think I've already said a lot.
That's your question.
Blistering speed. Yucatan Peninsula, Chicxulub Club Crater, CC is a 33. A massive depression.
Whoa.
I mean,
oh, C, A, B, C, 3, 3, 3.
Oh, Chicxulub Crater.
Seriously,
CC.
Hans? I know, but he just went, because it's C, it's 33. C and C.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, Hans, come on. Oh, God.
Massive in size, but not depth. It's so. I mean,
all right. Well,
I don't think that really makes sense to me. The craters are a hoax. I don't know exactly what it is.
Craters are a hoax. Right, Hans, do me a favor. 150. What can you do with 150 to divide it by 3 to get either 33 and 3 or 66 and 6 or fucking 99 and 9? Surprised you didn't pick on 93 miles. Well, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and then 3 is so you got 333 miles.
Wouldn't that be 100 divided by 3?
Just 9 divided by 3 gives you a 3. So,
yeah. Okay. I'm just saying 150 divided by 3 doesn't give you 33 and a third repeating. 100 divided by 3 does. I'm just saying, man. I'm sorry. My autism came out.
Where did the thing that caused the impact go? Why did that vaporize? And I'm very suspicious. I don't know exactly what's going on. I
Of
think it
course, you're
could just be them
suspicious. Your
blowing
hands
crap
weren't
up,
out.
testing
You're suspicious
their
of
biggest
everything.
missiles. It could be structures collapsing, like underground structures sinking in. I don't know. People will have ideas, more ideas.
Okay. So he's still talking about the colossal asteroid. He's talking about underground structures collapsing. There were no structures 66 fucking million years ago.
I'm going to hold my decision off on that one.
What
I
there were
want to
structures?
out.
There were,
Okay, you
are
do
you going to
you
say there were
agree? Hold
people
on.
here in
Do you agree
66 million
in
years
the
ago?
recent evolutionary theory? Right. Humans evolved over the past few million years into the animals we are today.
No, only the last 300,000 years.
I'm just saying, but over the millions of years, we eventually became this. We're native to this planet. We weren't seeded here by aliens or gods or anything like that, right? Okay, you agree to that. In the past 200,000 years, we have gone from bumping a couple of rocks together to trying to put a man on the freaking moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me there is zero chance that in 65 million years, not a single other species ever advanced to at least a similar level to, say, our Stone Age ancestors?
No.
Is it impossible? That's my question.
It's totally impossible. Do you know how long it takes to travel from here? First of all, to Mars, that's 9 months. That's the closest planet that we've been to. After that, to get from here to Jupiter,
Okay, I'm confused.
will take about 20 years.
I wasn't
From
talking about
here
space.
to there. So to get from our solar system to the next solar system would take, I don't know,
Like 4 years.
I'm picking a figure off the top of my head here. 200,000 years to get from our solar system to the next solar system. There is, well,
Okay,
I won't say there's no way. I
my
won't say
question
there's
is,
no way. I
I
won't say
wasn't
there's
asking
no
about
way.
space travel. I wasn't asking about space travel at all. I was
But
just asking whether or not we were seeded by aliens. If
No.
that's a no, then we can continue to my actual question.
All right.
Right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so no aliens, no gods, probably no interdimensional elves, but that's still on the back burner at the moment. Okay, we're in agreement on this point. But what I'm asking is,
atheists don't believe in gods.
in the we developed from bumping rocks together to putting a man on the moon in less than 200,000 years. Is it not possible that another species achieved a portion of what we've accomplished in the millions, perhaps billions of years available in the past? Possibly gnomes, yes.
No, I don't. I honestly don't think so.
Do you think that intelligent life is so very rare that it can't possibly evolve twice on the same planet?
Well, you are kind of talking about a reset, that we had people here.
I'm not talking about humans at all.
Well, things.
Thingy. Yeah.
Things. Okay. Were things here that did things here on Earth 100, 200, 300,000 years ago? I don't think so.
Okay, I agree. There's zero evidence for it. There's absolutely no reason.
There's no evidence.
But
you're correct.
What I'm getting at is there's no evidence against it. In fact, I would suggest that
is it a possibility?
our existence is evidence for at least partial development of intellect.
Is it a possibility? I do question the pyramids.
Yeah, Luddites called me out. He's right. He's correct. We developed from bumping rocks together to modern tech in less than 10,000 years. Yeah, he's correct.
Yeah. I do question the pyramids. The pyramids, if I had a time machine honestly, and there are so many points in history that we all look at.
Sure.
World War II, World War One, um, the dinosaurs, all of that. If I had a time machine, I would go back to the pyramids. I want to see how they cut granite rock with absolute 100 million% precision and put those rocks together to go hundreds of meters high. How did they do it? That does kick my rock a little bit. You know, I think I know how they did it. We all think we know how they did it. But those rocks with those tunnels for the Pharaoh.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm starting to like Luddite Neanderthal more and more as it goes along. The second time
Lud,
you out on something I said. I like that.
Lud is a great guy. Lud is he's kind of my sort of dictionary. He's a great guy. Absolutely.
Well, no, he's been right on point with every single one of these statements. I mean, like we developed, there's no evidence against anything. You can't prove something that didn't happen without evidence of something having happened in its place. And even that doesn't prove it didn't happen. It just proves that we don't have evidence of it happening.
Absolutely. 100%. But yeah, if I had a time machine, I would definitely go back to what was Egypt 6,000 years ago. I would go back to Egypt. I want to see how they built those fucking pyramids. They did it in precision with the moon and the sun and the stars and fucking everything, and it was all right. 33 degrees, 66
There's
degrees.
one thing that's always made me angry when it comes to dealing with people asking how such and such happened. Have you ever met an actual genius?
Yes, I sleep with a genius every night.
There is a big difference between a really, really, really smart person who knows a lot and an actual genius. A really, really smart person that knows a lot can tell you how to do something, might be able to do the thing, might be able to produce that object. A genius walks into a room with no previous experience, looks at the tools and implementation at hand, and does it correctly without any previous training. That shit is amazing to me. I'm sorry.
No.
But it's amazing to me. And no one actually gives genius the right amount of credit in history. One genius can completely alter the entire world of development.
I love this one. Pyramids are simplest type of structure. It's a lot of it's a loose pile of rocks.
Essentially, yeah. There's no mortar in those things. It's not that technical.
Yeah,
they are aligned certain ways.
But how are they cut? How are they cut? How are they transported? The rock was brought from way down the Nile.
Sure.
Way up to the Nile.
Boats float, bro.
Excuse me. Pardon me. But how were they cut with such precision?
Are we really dipping into this, or are we going to go back to the video?
No.
I can wax philosophical on this for 20 minutes straight with no breaks.
I don't believe in asteroids. There's a reason that falling stars always fall. They don't go upwards because outer space is fake.
Well, that's because of gravity, Hans. Nothing goes upwards unless you throw it upwards, and then it'll always come back down because of gravity.
And immediate aftermath of the asteroid impact. Billions of atomic bombs. Well, nukes are Hollywood. They are not real. The tremendous force ignited
Um,
I-
Hiroshima.
I'm not even going down that route, bro. I've got a book over
I'm not
here.
going down that road, but
I got a book over here that's all about the cleanup of nuclear daughter elements. It's a good one. It's got names in it like von Braun and freaking Oppenheimer.
Von Braun,
and
yeah. Well, Von Braun was,
these
okay.
people,
He was a Nazi, but yeah, he ended
I'm
up on
pretty
with
sure
NASA.
whatever.
And,
It's kind of funny that NASA is spelled similar to Nazi, right?
well, it's not quite spelt similar to Nazi.
This is one of those people thoughts. You know what I mean?
I do question what Von Braun put on his well, not what he put on his headstone, but what somebody put on his headstone. Wasn't it Psalms 2:12 or something? And the firmament, fuck's sake.
And I have become death, destroyer.
Whatever. It's just, okay, so atomic bombs are Hollywood. Okay, let's skip over that.
wildfires hundreds of miles away and released vast amounts of sulfur into the atmosphere, leading to a significant drop in temperatures. Now I want to start getting into the specifics, because this is where it has to do with the most recent history reset. It seems like people emerged from beneath the earth and were walking around in an unpopulated area, and it's like a playground, but the skies also look weird and they're heavily covered in clothing. There's talk of acid rain. In this time period, they have incubator babies and orphan trains. What is happening? So
What the?
I think that this really puts all the pieces together, that
I'm utterly baffled.
they
Can you explain
What
any of this?
pieces?
To me?
What? I'm lost.
What is an orphan train?
I'm lost.
Okay. Good. Okay. As long as we're both lost in the same fog. I
We're
think
both
we'll be
lost.
okay.
No, we're lost on this slide. Incubator babies. I mean, yeah, okay. The first incubator baby was born in 1977. It was a test tube baby called Louise, but that's nothing to do with an asteroid impact. I'm fucking lost.
I'm
Next.
utterly baffled. Let's move
they
on.
blast as much ash into the air as they can. They light all the fires that they can, and then they go in their little bunkers or the catacombs or whatever, and they
A catacomb is completely opposite to a bunker.
Yeah.
Isn't a bunker where you go to survive, where a catacomb is?
I would make the argument that a
where you're
bunker
buried?
is any construction underground that's designed to survive some form of catastrophe. It doesn't have to be anything like warfare would be considered a catastrophe, and so you have bunkers.
100%. Well, we had bunkers. We had bunkers in actually you didn't have them in America, but during World War II, virtually every single household in England had to have a bunker.
You must be forgetting about the Cuban Missile Crisis, bro.
A
bunch of people built bunkers.
I was talking about World War II.
Yeah, I know.
So virtually every single household in England had to have a fucking air raid shelter, a bunker. You had to get in there. When that siren went off, doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're having dinner with a family or if you're having a fucking threesome, then just put your clothes on, get into the bunker.
Well, I mean, if we're just going to the bunker, let's just carry our clothes with us.
Well, we can carry on the threesome, yeah. Put your clothes back on and then take your clothes back off. But when that siren went off, you're in that bunker because you're going to die if you don't. There were during the Battle of Britain, when they bombed London, there was something like 1.6 million Londoners living in the underground. They went down to the underground, and that's where they lived. They had communities there. They sang songs, they talked, and they chatted, but they had to live down there for 2 to 3 days on end. So, Hans, don't get me fucking started on bunkers. You
Probably pre-planned this so they have food.
Oh yeah, pre-planned it. That's right. Yeah. Oh yes, I got an idea. Let's start a fucking war and let's bomb England. It's pre-planned. Oh yes, okay.
Talks and all that, and then they emerge later, a couple years, and well, most people should be dead now, and the only people who survive are probably the fringe people that end up becoming like the natives or whatever. I don't know exactly how that all works, but who knows?
That's
2
racist.
years seems short to me.
Isn't that incredibly fucking racist?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
That's,
wow.
That's
Okay, now let's continue. I think there might be
that little bit broke my brain just a second, but I'm gonna, just for shits and giggles, we're gonna pass over that bit.
Like I don't know that they would only do it for 2 years, honestly. Like a lot of just because a lot of the media has people going down in their bunker for decades, and I don't know that there would be enough people dying if they only did it for 2 years. But certainly the bulk of people would be dead in like 1 year of the system. If they just went away one day, if all the governments and all the people just like vanished one day and ghosted us, I don't think it really would take that long for a lot of people to unfortunately die, because we're just so not self-sufficient as a people. We're very dependent on the system.
Accurate.
Well, accurate, but not accurate. We are only people that are dependent on the system, but there wasn't a system
Before the system.
a few. Okay, so we probably have a different argument on 300,000 years ago or 100,000 years, but we didn't have a system. We developed a system. So if a system went away, then we would develop another system.
I mean, on its surface, that makes sense.
No, don't give him any credence.
I mean, but it's not all our fault. They make it that way. They build the system so that we have to be dependent on it. We can't just say, I don't want to be a part of this and go and live off a piece of land and try to live off the land. That's not allowed. You can't do that.
Sure you can. You just have to be dedicated, determined, and frugal.
Isn't that what we did a few thousand years ago?
Shit, 300 years ago.
No.
It's not that, dude. When I was born, I lived in a 2-room sharecropper shack with 3 kids and 2 parents. We had an outhouse and a wood burning stove that we used to cook on. Right now, I am sitting in a 2,200 square foot brick house built in the middle of town because it has excellent freaking internet. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
You can call that an improvement if you wish, but quite frankly, I think I was happier fishing.
Yep. And the fishing, cooking in the wild, cooking on the burner.
I will admit, those mornings were a little bit frosty. And them pads in the wash tub wasn't no fun neither.
Fair comment. Right, we've got 3 minutes left of this.
They force you to play the game. Longer term effects, but the asteroids impacted more than just throw up dust and soot. It also resulted in widespread acid rain. This is another thing that I wanted to point out, because that's a weird topic. Acid rain used to be like a big concern, and maybe it had to do with they just had a reset and that type of thing.
It's just another reset. Ah, here we go.
Is the reset button kind of like the easy button?
Yeah, it's like the what's that one? The American president had to hit. He just hits that button, you know. But he has to put a code in though, doesn't he? He has to put an 8-digit code in, and apparently that 8-digit code is eight zeros. Do you know why it's called 8 zeros? Because it's
But if it's zeros, it's not a code.
You know what I'm saying? I was trying to make a joke. I got.
Oh, it's probing time. The devil made me do it.
Oh, the football. Yeah, that's the football. That's it. It's the football. So you open it and you go,
Now it'd be like Spaceballs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, and 8. Let's go, baby.
Suck.
I've got incredible hiccups again. All right, 2 minutes left. Here we go.
Acid rain for a while, and also probably part of why they're always wearing hats and a lot of clothing and stuff.
Oh, he loves the hats. He loves to bag people. Hans, this is for you, darling. This is for you. If you're watching this, oh, I hope you're fucking watching this. Everybody back then used to wear hats. It was the fashion. Everybody did it. Men, women. They used to wear hats like this all the time because that was the fashion.
There's more to it. Yeah, that was the fashion, but there was a reason. The reason that was the fashion is because it was fashionable to have milky white skin. You got to remember, smallpox was a thing.
Yep.
Milkmaids were beautiful, regardless of what size, shape, or complexion they had, because their skin were always milky smooth.
So you have to wear hats.
No, because they got cowpox as a little girl, and it made them immune to smallpox. So they wouldn't get smallpox as an adult, which would scar up people. And so milkmaids were considered beautiful. And the royalty emulated the skin of milkmaids by using lead paint and shit.
Oh, fucking hell. But at the same time,
video play, dude. Deal with your heartburn and let the video play.
It's fucking killing me.
I think I've mostly said everything. Evolution. They got to talk about evolution. They got to talk about dinosaurs turning into.
Well, to be fair, Hans, evolution is a real thing. I'm sorry, you've kind of got to take your hat off to that one. Evolution is a thing.
To mammal superiority and including humans, they're they got to talk about that because that's their biological outer space thing. The evolution, saying that humans came from monkeys and that life came from sludge. Of course, that is wrong. God created everything. Everything we see was created by God. And I'm going to read Genesis chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. but for Adam, there was not found and help meet for him. Okay, so Adam is the one who named all of our animals, and
Really?
A really busy dude.
I thought God created everything.
Well, he's saying Adam named all the
He
animals.
was. But I thought God. Oh, okay. So God created them, and then Adam just went monkey,
Horse,
elephant,
dog,
giraffe,
unicorn, dinosaur,
sloth,
triceratops.
hua. Oh no, sorry, your name's Eve. All right, okay.
they love to create their own fake animals and give them complicated names. Brontosaurus. Wait, is that a thing or is it not a thing? Who knows? They keep changing their mind.
Who changes their mind about a brontosaurus? A brontosaurus is a brontosaurus.
What if it's a brachiosaurus?
Nobody's- Brachiosaurus, brontosaurus, brachiosaurus.
Right. No,
you
I'm
say
just saying
brachiosaurus,
these are
I
different
say brontosaurus.
sauropods.
But nobody's changing their mind about that. That's what we called it. So, oh god, incredible hiccups.
And
We
it
needed
really is something that they like to do. They like to be like God. They like to create their own creature and give them their own name and get people to believe in it. They really get off on that kind of thing. Imagine the type of power that makes people feel to get the entire world to believe in some ridiculous hoax like the panda. They're
Oh god, him and the panda. Oh god, he doesn't
History-
believe in the panda.
Wait, he doesn't think a panda is a real thing.
Doesn't believe in the panda. The great apes are actors in costumes.
Are you serious, bro? Hey, dude, anytime you do anything with this guy's new material, Jesus Christ, send me a freaking link.
Koala bears. Koala bears are not real. Although I've
mentioned the
Well, the
platypus
plat-
either.
the koala bears was a personal one for me because obviously living in Australia for 10 years and holding a koala bear, I cuddled a koala bear. It's fucking real. There was nobody behind me with his hand up his ass going, which way do you want me to go? Which way? So a koala bear
All
is
the
a real.
pony sharks are actors.
Yeah. Anteaters are not real. Emperor penguins, they're actors in suits living in Antarctica in the freezing cold in the minus 70 degrees, but yeah, they're actors, thousands of them. Oh, don't worry, there's more to come from this guy. There is so much more to come.
megalomaniacs. They feel
Got
like
about
God.
another 15 minutes available.
You're talking about a megalomaniac?
Yeah.
Oh my god. If the pot can't call the kettle black.
I've got
mold
about 15
that-
minutes left available,
what reality is.
just so you know.
But of course, God is in full control, and God made everything, even stupid fursuits and animatronics. So
So God made animatronics. Now, animatronics, if I'm not mistaken, matronics is a very modern phrase, i.e. in the last less than 100 years, matronics, tronics, electronics, whatever. But fucking Jesus died, what, 2,000 years ago? And
There
God
was Leonardo. Leonardo did some clever stuff with like ropes and weights and
didn't
pendulums.
Leonardo DiCaprio invent the fucking helicopter?
No,
Are
but
you-
Leonardo da Vinci might have.
I know. Are you I love saying that because it really pisses people off.
Yep, with it. It's good. But what I'm getting at is he made something called the Tilting Night game. And the Tilting Night game was basically a weight driven knight that rolled around on a table and would point at different people. And the people had to drink. And it was done for some he designed it for some nobleman who commissioned it because he wanted to have a knight that would ride across his table. Leonardo designed it, sent the designs, they built it, and for years in this particular area, the Tilting Night game was famous because if you showed up at this king's court, generations later, they would break out the Tilting Night, set it on the table after dinner, and then they would just rewind it every time it would run out, but it would turn and stop, and then turn and stop, and then turn and stop. Igor Skorsky did a damn good job at that chili chopper and thing. Yes, sir.
He absolutely 100% did. All right, we've got 30 seconds left. Let's go.
Thank God for waking us up to this type of deception. And let me know what you think about this. I just think that this article is a nice example of they know how the resets happen. And I think they're kind of hinting at that they block out the sun. You get acid rain. Did it talk about?
You block out the sun. How the fuck are you going to block out the sun? Do you know how big the sun is? It's like this big. Do you know how big Earth is? It's like this big. Good luck with blocking out the sun, Hans.
About freezing temperatures. I think it probably talked about freezing temperatures somewhere. All this in my mind fits in with the historical reset and the evidence that we see. So much clothing, the sky's looking weird. They look bewildered, like they've been underground for who knows how long. And they opened up the asylums were all beautiful old castles. They shoved all the people that wouldn't stop talking about the old world into the asylums and called them crazy. It makes a lot of sense to me. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.
The answer to that question is, Hans, no. Nobody enjoyed that video.
I can't start in on another one.
Are you coming towards?
I got to go help out another previous guest.
I'm not going to start another one. I'm not going to start. I had to just come out of that.
So, all right, let's recap what we learned today, children. The sky's a hologram.
You talk. I'll be back.
The sky is a hologram. The stars are pinholes in the cover of night. The firmament is a solid blue glass sphere or dome, I guess you'd call it. Dinosaurs were killed by people who went back in time and planned out an atomic detonation thousands of times bigger than we can create today. Oh yeah, koalas are actors. Penguins don't reel. Yes, daddy. Good girl. And Leonardo DiCaprio invented the helicopter. Did I miss anything? Oh, mud floods. Right. There's a reset button that they're banging out like the orgasm button in that old monkey test. Like reset, 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 reset. Yeah, okay.
No,
Hans is nuts. DC is an NPC and nukes are Hollywood. Thank you. We've wrapped everything up. Welcome back.
I think that's everything in a pretty good nutshell. That was a great recap, by the way. So you've obviously been taking notes. But yeah.
All right, bud. I'm gonna go jump on another panel. I appreciate you for having me up.
No, thank you for
next time you do one of these. If you want a little company, send me the email. I can't promise to get it in time, but if I do and I'm available, I'll pop up.
That was brilliant. Hans is nuts. CC's NPC and nukes are Hollywood. That's right.
Yep.
Nukes are only available in Hollywood. So if you want a nuclear weapon. Oh, let me call what's his name? The North Korea guy. Hey, you want a nuke? Okay. Call Hollywood. Yes, they've got heaps. Yes, Yes, cheap. Very cheap.
I'm pretty sure they
Very,
already
very
got
cheap.
Hollywood's number, bro.
All right. Bye. 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 Love you. Bye. What the fuck? All right. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate you coming up here. I will see you on another video, no doubt.
Yeah, just
Please
hit me up.
take care, and I'll see you soon.